And welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, and a very warm welcome to La Liga and Javier Tebas if you are watching. But today, regardless of what those guys think, we are going to be taking a closer look at last night's performance against Alaves, what we can learn, what we can take away from our 3-1 victory, which of course will also include the sending off of Vitor Roque. We're not going to stop talking about it no matter what. We've also got some injury updates today, and positive ones too. And we're also going to discuss Lucas Bergvall after plenty of talk in the media recently. So thank you indeed, guys, all of you, for joining me here today, and let's do it. Because just a very quick word, guys, on the video that I released earlier on today. If you haven't seen it yet, please do go and check out there my important announcement on the channel. I would really appreciate you having a look at that there, because I really did just want to explain everything to you guys in full. So thank you indeed for that, because, well, this video right here today really is exactly the kind of video we're going to have the day after games. We're going to be talking through everything here. Nothing at all will be missed out. And that's why today, let's start first of all with Lamine Yamal, because I've got to start with him. After yesterday's game, guys, and after so many of the games recently, I'm just amazed by him right now. Every single match day that we have, he just keeps impressing us. Every single game, he does new things. He shows more characteristics, more qualities that he has in his armoury, and I'm just so happy that we have him here at this club. You know, having somebody like Lamine Yamal, that should give us all confidence. That should give us all real hope, looking here to the now and, of course, the future. And I also want to talk not only about his magic, you know, the way that he can move his body, some of the body feints that we saw in yesterday's game. Alaves did not know where to turn. They didn't know where he was going to go at any given time. But I think what we also have to highlight right now with Yamal is his work ethic too. The way that every single game of late, he's been rushing back. He's been really working hard to help out Jules Koundé at right back. He's been putting real shifts in on that right-hand side. He's played a lot of football recently. I think we do have to look at that. We have to monitor that. We have to be aware of that. We don't want to overplay, of course. We really don't want to see him picking up any injury problems. But right now, we're just enjoying him. Everything about his game, everything about his performances. Lamine Yamal at Barca is a joy to behold. Which brings us on then to the topic of Robert Lewandowski, because I do have to give him, guys, a serious amount of credit in this game, because it was a wonderful goal from him. You know, it wasn't just a tap-in, it wasn't just a goal there that came to him very easily. This was actually a very good goal from Lewandowski there. It's a great ball from Gundogan, which we're going to be discussing. Lewandowski does well to take it in his stride. It's a really good, really measured first touch there, which is what we want to see from him. And the finish was sublime, you know, dinking it there over the goalkeeper. He made it look easy, he made it look effortless there, and that should give him a certain amount of confidence. And ultimately, guys, this is what we want to see from Robert Lewandowski. We know that he can do it, we know that it's in there somewhere, and I think what he has to do now is build off this, because this is the kind of goal that he was scoring when he first arrived at the club. You know, he was making things look easy in and around the penalty area. He was picking up passes. His first touch was much better than we've seen of late. This was much more like it here in terms of this one action. And I thought it was interesting, actually, that we heard from Robert Lewandowski earlier on in the week, where actually, for the first time, he opened up on his struggles, particularly there in 2023. He said there was a time where I felt not only mentally, but also physically weaker. He said that year, all of the bad and negative things seemed to come together in a moment, and he said everything accumulated around me. And he said in football, it's not really easy to solve things, to go back to normal within a week or two. He said it does take time. And I think here Lewandowski, like I say, he's got to go on from here now. He has to be more focused in terms of that first touch, in terms of the overall game. And of course, when he's getting the ball in the penalty area, do what you do best. We know that you have the finishing ability. We still have massive games to come this season. We've still got big moments here where he can arise, where he can step up. And we must see that from him. But let's talk right here about the man that supplied that pass, and the man who scored a brilliant goal in his own right yesterday. Wonderful ball it was, in from Pedri there to the back post, but there was still so much for Ilkay Gundogan to do. He gets onto it well, he's stretching actually for the finish, but what a volley it was there. Smacked it into the back of the net. And I think what we're seeing right now with Gundogan is Barca maybe unlocking him, because I think there, you look at his time at Man City, how good Gundogan was, not only in terms of his technical ability, we know how good he is on the ball, the way that he can pick a pass, the way that he has such a good understanding of space, but I think what you also know noticed about Gundogan, particularly that in that final season at City, he was such a match winner. He was the player that when City were in need of a goal or in need of a big moment in the final third, he'd step up. And now at Barca, we're starting to unlock that version of Ilkay Gundogan. And what that means is that he has to be more advanced. In order to have those game-defining moments, he needs to be further up the field, closer to the forward at Barca. He needs to be in and around the penalty area. And we've seen him in recent weeks certainly operating more in that area. And that was helped yesterday probably by having more defensive players behind him, not only Frenkie de Jong, but of course the experiment there surrounding Andreas Christensen in that deeper midfield role. And I thought it was very interesting, and I'm glad to see that Xavi did try it, that he did do something different. That's what we've been crying out for here, doing new things to maybe help unlock the players like Gundogan around them. But I do just want to say, guys, on Gundogan, because he come off in that second half, didn't he? He looked to be struggling, a bit of discomfort there, maybe a potential injury problem, but don't worry, he is absolutely fine. It was only a knock there to his back. There is no lasting problem, and he should be perfectly available for our very next game, because we need him. We are going to start relying on that kind of quality that we're seeing from him right now. But then we must move on to Vitor Roque, and I don't even want to talk first of all about the red card, because let's not allow that to overshadow another wonderful goal from him, because again he comes off the bench, and yet again it's within minutes, within literally 2, 3, 4 minutes of coming on in the past two games, he's scoring immediately. It is absolutely incredible to see the way that he's able to impact the game, because usually when players are coming off the bench, especially younger players, it takes a bit of time to start reading the game, to understand the pace of the game, but he is straight in there and really understanding everything around him. And I think you see that in the goal there, guys, because when you look at this goal here, it's actually played back to Vitor Roque. Now, a lot of young players in that position there, you're in front of goal, you've got a bit of space, you've got a bit of time, they would smash that. They would put their foot through the ball and think, okay, get this on target, hit it as hard as I can. But Roque, he's seeing the game differently already, because actually here with the finish, he takes all of the pace off the ball. It's a really, really clever finish there, because he actually deceives the goalkeeper, he puts it into the far post. It's really, really elegantly done, and you can see right now, he's already thinking clearly, he's already seeing the picture, and it was a wonderful, wonderful moment, and that is actually why it was so angering what came after that. It was so frustrating to see all of that confidence, all of that joy that should have been flowing through him after the last two games that he's had just cut short. And that was done by a referee, and that was done by the people who are in charge right here of this league. And like I say, I got into a bit of trouble, you may say, with La Liga yesterday for some of the things that I said on the channel after the game, but I honestly don't care. I would certainly not take that back. It was an absolutely horrific decision, and we will keep saying that and keep repeating that here on the channel, make no mistake, because I would even go further, guys, and say, if you watched last night the Girona and Real Sociedad game, and this was, by the way, just one game before Girona play Real Madrid, and of course they just happened to have their coach sent off. Of course they managed to have several key players in their team there receiving a yellow card that rules them out of the next game, and lots of things right now are happening in plain sight, and we are going to talk about them. And I just want to say too that Barca will be appealing that Vitor Roque red card. I really don't hold out too much hope, guys. I wouldn't really get too excited about that, because I don't really see anything changing there with regards to that decision. But let's move on to some better news here. Let's move on to a few positives with regard to players coming back into this Barcelona team, because the big news today on injuries is that Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Rafinha as well participated in some of the training session with the first team today. He is back there on the pitch with the squad, the two of them really close now to joining up with full training again. And as you can see right here from the schedule that we have in February, what we have coming up is a very rare midweek off. We have now a full week to prepare for our next game against Granada, and then after that one as well, another free midweek as well. So really now, this could be a time we can work on the training ground, we can get some players back from injury, and of course this is all building up to the massive games that we have coming up against Napoli. Those are some of the biggest games in our season, and what we want to do is prepare the team, get everything ready now for those matches. And another good thing as well, Cancelo went off at half-time yesterday. There was injury concerns surrounding him too, but he is also expected to be fine for our very next game. So on the injury front, hopefully more positive, and hopefully getting players back into Xavi's team. However, guys, that is not all in today's video, because there is a really important topic as well here that I want to sort of cover and discuss in a bit of detail, and it's regarding the Swedish talent there, Lucas Bergvall, who of course you will have seen has decided now to join Tottenham instead of Barca, and that has naturally created a lot of media attention, because already now, over the past few days, I've been hearing there on social media, Barca have lost their pull when it comes to transfers. You can see this here by a player choosing to join Tottenham instead of joining Barca, and of course there's news outlets there that will jump on this news, they'll use it to sort of further their agendas, but I just want to make things here absolutely clear. Barca offered Lucas Bergvall the chance to sign for the club, yes, but he was going to spend his time between Barca Athletic, who are in the third tier of Spanish football, and between the first team, the senior team at the club. Now, what Barca told him basically was that depending on how things went there, depending on how he performed, how he took his chances, and of course the players ahead of him, we've got so many young, talented midfield players all pushing for minutes at this club. Only all of that would dictate how many minutes he got initially at the club. So really saying it's going to take time. Now, Tottenham came in at the last minute. They were a bit more desperate. They wanted to add to their squad. They wanted to sign this player above everything else. And they told him, you can come to our first team. You can jump straight into the Tottenham senior side and we will give you certain promises when it comes to minutes at the club. And this, guys, is very, very clear to me. It's one of those rare situations where you can't really blame anyone. I don't really think we should be saying anything about anybody involved, because I understand why Bergvall then said, okay, I'm going to go to Tottenham. At the end of the day, I'm thinking about my career. I'm probably thinking about the now. I'm thinking about the short term. I'm going to go and join a club there where I can go straight into the first team, where I can play in the Premier League, and some of my minutes there are confirmed. They are promised to me. Now, I also think, guys, you can say nothing about Barca in this instance, because I would not want us to be promising an 18-year-old player coming in there from the Swedish league who yet hasn't proven anything. We can't promise him anything. We cannot say, you are definitely going to get in our senior team. We're going to put you ahead of all these other players. It won't happen, and it should not happen at this club. At the end of the day, we offered what we saw fit. Bergvall thought that he could go and get minutes elsewhere, that he could go and join another club. That is absolutely fine, but that does not mean by any way, shape or form that Barca have lost their pull in the transfer market, that Barca here have lost the attraction of players wanting to join this club. That is absolute nonsense, and I'm sure that we will only go on to see that in the coming transfer windows. Make no mistake about that. So that there, guys, was indeed full reaction to Barca's win over Alaves, and I really do hope, guys, that you have all enjoyed the video today. If you have, please do go and leave it a like, and also Javier Tebas, if you're watching, please drop a like as well. Come on, Javier, what are you waiting for? But thank you indeed, guys, like I say, for all of your fantastic support. I really appreciate it, especially in some of the more difficult times. Very important here that we stick together on the channel, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to break that bond, break that connection. I will see you all soon with lots more videos to come, big games on the horizon for Barca, and really hoping that we can attack them now. That is the important thing. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday here, but until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.